I got from you two things. One is keep it simple, keep it real, keep it functional. Where's the problem coming up? Let's not give it names. Let's talk about where's it coming up.
Right.
And in a way, being a little maverick about that. And on the other hand, not being an idiot.
Right.
And being a professional.
Right.
So I think maybe the question being, what would be your word of advice, knowing me? And just the question is, with evaluations, when do you really need to go more structured? When do you go deeper? And when do you say, I have a good enough sense that I'm going to run with this?
I think that...
I'm sorry, can I add to that question?
Yeah, sure.
And what points do you look at and say, this is just how it is? And where do we say, let's intervene?
What do you mean by this just how it is? After you've done the diagnosis?
As we do a diagnosis and we sort of make a prediction about what we think will happen with or without therapy, and as we make a recommendation.
Diagnostic intervention. Now you're 2 visits in, let's say.
There are a lot of questions that you're raising in here. The first one is a bias that I have about the nature of an evaluation. Where possible, I think there needs to be some standardized formal test, because a family expects that, they sit on the floor and you're doing a dynamic assessment. One of the things I always did with preschoolers would be that postal school box type of thing where they put shapes in. And I would be doing a dynamic assessment and determining how many trials it took for that child to take the yellow square and find the yellow square box, teaching them this is a dynamic thing, or working with trains on the floor, etc. That's another issue, but where possible, you'd want to include at least some standardized testing, because I think the community expects it, that when you go to a doctor, they do your blood pressure, they put the thermometer or whatever. This is a quantifiable thing. However, I think, and I'm not sure I'm answering your question, I always become as intuitive and questioning as the examination goes on. With an older child, I don't have it pre-planned. I may have it pre-planned to give this, but with experience, you know that, I'll pull out this subtest, and because that will give me, I'm seeing something, presumably. It's a tough question to answer, and I'm not sure I'm answering it. But there was another part to it, the reference to your prediction. And I feel strongly about, I don't have a crystal ball. And you have to be very careful about what will happen with therapy or without therapy. That's a dangerous place to go, because you don't know. Okay? The fact is, there are lots of kids who do just as well without therapy.
I think it also varies on what the presentation is. If you're talking about a list versus significantly
exactly. I am not interested in lists. Okay, I know people are. Again, it's related to my history. Yeah, okay. We work with this thing called codopraxia. Okay, there are motor planning. There are issues that you need to work with kids specifically with some of these specialized programs and techniques. But the mainstream garden variety R's and L's and S's, it's not my thing. But it's important, because parents have this notion that the child needs to be there. So anyway. The point is that, yes, you need to be very careful, I think, about predicting, because you don't know. You just don't know. And that's the best way to answer it, I think, I don't have a crystal ball. And some of my other quote rules are not only love that child or get out of there, but also none of us is as smart as all of us. And that's important,
I've said that before.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's why the meetings, in a way, the wisdom that emerges from a meeting with a shared knowledge.
Yeah, you come up with different ideas, and that from even other professionals, and sometimes you feel the special education teacher doesn't know what they're talking about, but they've got contributions to make, and I think that's important too. It's a multidisciplinary thing. Well, we can go on and on with, ask some other questions.